Wake Up Call channel. Once again, I need to do a video covering Eminem. For those of you over the years, you've seen the amount of videos I've done on Eminem, from 3 o'clock in the morning, the ritual hour, to the blood baptism, to the demon possession. And once again, Eminem is using the demon possession. Eminem is reincarnated as a demon baby in this trailer that I'm about to play for you. But I want you to keep in mind when you watch this trailer, this common theme that we always see in Hollywood. This common theme that we see in these music videos, not just of demon possession, but also of the birth of the Antichrist. This is a common theme that we see all the time, with babies being born, being possessed, babies being born, being the Antichrist. So this trailer is a little bit disturbing. I cut it up to take some of the language out and to take some of the shots of the child out, where the child's actually even getting spanked after it comes out of the womb and then ends up being demon possessed. But is it a coincidence that Eminem, somebody I've talked about over the years who constantly shows us the same signs and symbols that all these celebrities do, holding their hand up over their eyes, doing the 666 sign, the devil horns, right? Like I mentioned, the blood baptism. Is it a surprise that once again, somebody in Hollywood, somebody in the music industry is releasing something that is so repetitive that it's not shocking, it's nothing new? The audience has become so desensitized, they don't even realize that they're constantly showing you this stuff. They're constantly making references to Lucifer and demonic possession. And everybody out there thinks it's make-believe, that they're just obsessed with this notion that it gets clicks, that it makes money to constantly talk about demon possession. Yet the common person out there doesn't think demonic possession is real. Even the common Christian doesn't read the Bible and realize that Jesus was giving exorcisms because people were possessed, yet they'll believe that their house is haunted by their grandma. I feel the spirit of my grandma around, but they don't believe in demon possession. It's 100% true and legit. Look at this disturbing trailer by Eminem.
When I count to 3, I need you to push as hard as you can. 3, 1. Now breathe in.
What's going on? It'll be okay.
What in the name of God?
What did you do to him?
So what you saw there at the end, of course, was the birth, or what they're referencing there is the birth of the Antichrist. And is it a coincidence that the eyes of these demons are always black? Is it a coincidence that, let's start with the common theme, right, of birthing the Antichrist? How many times have we seen Hollywood do it? If these people are artists, then why are they using the same themes over and over and over? They know that you're not going to pick up on it, you're not going to call them out on it, that you're too dumbed down. And then when you watch these movies and these music videos, that your brain wavelengths are so low, they're lowered down into an alpha state, that you're not paying attention to what they're really showing you. So they can put spells on you. They can mind control you. The common person doesn't realize these things. They've been trained to believe that mind control is not real. They've been trained to think that demon possession isn't real. And like I said earlier, even Christians have been trained that. But if we see the pattern, what do we always see, right? This obsession with birthing the Antichrist, right? Throughout Hollywood, the Rosemary's Baby, the whole movie is about these Satanists performing a ritual with this woman and birthing the Antichrist, right? The whole theme of The Omen is about the Antichrist and the birth of the Antichrist. So what I want to talk about is the transformation as well, because a common theme that most of you know who will follow my channel is black goo and the demon eyes that we always see, these black eyes. The transformation is what it means. So the baby in the clip had these black eyes, and we're always seeing this in Hollywood, and no one's ever talking about it. They think that they're just going on set and they're just saying, hey, I want to put black contact lenses. Hey, to make the music video cooler, I'd love to just roll around in black goo. Does the slime from Nickelodeon? I love a black slime and just lay in it. It sounds like fun. Because people out there don't understand that there's messaging in what they're doing. So Eminem, we've seen many times show you these black possessed eyes, right? We've seen Lady Gaga show you these demon possessed eyes. Billie Eilish, right? The black goo dripping out of their eyes. And Rihanna as well, which was one of the first videos I ever did, even though I'm brand new to YouTube, was Anti-Diary, which showed you a lot of the things and foreshadowed a lot of the things that eventually we saw happen with the outbreak and the transformation. They were talking about a transformation that was coming, okay? getting something inside of people's bodies to edit their genetic code. Transformation. When they're talking about a transformation, which is one of the most common terms they always use, they're not talking about political power, transfer. They're talking about literally transforming you, right? Transformation. This is the clip, and the picture on the screen again is the black goo coming out of the eyes of somebody that was getting tattooed the mark on their body. But listen to this clip from the Rihanna video that I did a while ago about the transformation and how there's gold at the end of the tunnel.
My voice is my power. My voice is my power. Your face emerges from the shadows.
I follow you.
The transformation is coming. The world will see who I am.
I follow you into the darkness. We await the greatness that beckons.
There is gold at the end of this journey.
How do you drown out the noise?
There is no end.
Only new beginnings. The transformation is coming.
Okay, there's a common theme, obviously, with the black goo that we always see. They are talking about the transformation. The transformation isn't coming anymore. The transformation is underway. Editing human beings' genetic code. And that's what's going on around us. People literally are editing what it is to be human. Now, when we look back at this video of Eminem, the other thing that we need to pay attention to is the name, the whole thing, the whole album is called The Death of Slim Shady, right? The Death of Slim Shady. And nobody thinks twice about what that could even possibly mean, right? Eminem's been around for how long? 20 years. Well, how many years has Eminem, the real Eminem, been around, right? Because most of us believe that he's been replaced. Now, it's a crazy notion to people out there. They love to make fun of this whole notion of cloning, which I'm going to get into right now. But if you're not aware, a lot of people believe that Eminem was replaced. There's a lot of rappers who have even mentioned it in their rap songs, right? Cloned Eminem. He ain't rapped since Encore. And we've seen lots of articles out there mocking this whole notion that Eminem died in 2006 and was replaced by a clone. But I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about cloning because it is a real thing. And most people out there laugh it off and dismiss it. They actually even just did a video, which, again, all these things, the Anti-Diary video, the video on the cloning Tyrone movie from Netflix that Jamie Foxx is in, who, of course, they picked deliberately because many believe that Jamie Foxx is, in fact, cloned. Those videos are available on my website. But the cloning notion is something that most people have been trained to laugh off, right? So if you tell somebody on the show, it's like, whoa, cloning. But I always use this clip to help wake people up because if you won't believe it out of a conspiracy theorist's mouth is what they term all of us, right? Even though we're conspiracy fact checkers. I mean, we're really just conspiracy truthers telling you the truth of all this stuff that they're brainwashing you and thinking isn't real, right? If you don't want to believe people like us, why don't you believe a president of the United States, right? Here's Bill Clinton and Al Gore, two people who we all know are wicked, disgusting people who are worshipped by the Democrats. So if you're a Democrat and you question all the content that I put out, why don't you watch and listen to Bill Clinton openly talk about how they have the ability to clone and how it's important to them to manage this and make sure that it's not, you know, that it's in the right hands, that wicked people with morals won't do anything immoral, even though these are the most immoral people you could possibly imagine. These people in suits who stand in front of you at a podium and pretend that they're good, nice people are involved in some of those wicked rituals you can imagine. But here, again, for anyone that doubts the notion of Eminem being cloned, here's Bill Clinton and Al Gore talking about cloning. And, of course, we could trust the fact that cloning exists and that these people would never clone human beings with it, right?
Because we all realize we must strive to find the sometimes delicate but always crucial balance between our unending search for knowledge and doing what is safe and morally right. Ever since scientists in Scotland successfully cloned a sheep, an adult sheep, in February, the president and those of us who work with him, along with the rest of the nation, have grappled with the meaning and significance of the discovery, and the meaning and significance, of course, of the many scientific, safety, ethical, and religious implications presented by the question of the prospective possibility of cloning of human beings. No one, however, has deliberated more on this issue than the men and women who are responsible for the report being delivered today to President Clinton, members of the National Bioethics Advisory Commission. Over the last 3 months, they worked on an extremely complex issue at an extremely fast pace.
As the Vice President has said, and all of us know, we live in an era of breathtaking scientific discovery. More and more, our future in the world depends upon advances in science and technology, and more, the scientific community will influence the course of the future and the lives that our children will lead in the new century that is upon us. As I said in my commencement address at Morgan State University last month, our scientific explorations must be guided by our commitment to human values, to the good of society, to our basic sense of right and wrong. Nothing makes the necessity of that moral obligation more clear than the troubling possibility that these new animal cloning techniques could be used to create a child. That is why I acted in March to ban the use of federal funds for cloning human beings, to urge the private sector to
just the
observe the
federal
ban
funds,
voluntarily,
not overall.
while we initiated
We'll
a
still
national
do it behind the
dialogue
scenes,
on the risks and the
'cause we won't
responsibilities
pay for
of
it.
such a
Okay.
possibility,
That's what you're saying here.
and why I asked this commission to issue this report. For 3 months, the commission has rigorously explored the scientific, moral, and spiritual dimensions of human cloning. It's talked to leading scientists and religious leaders, to philosophers and families, to patient advocates, and to the general public. From many opinions and beliefs, as Dr. Shapiro said, one unanimous conclusion has emerged. Attempting to clone a human being is unacceptably dangerous to the child and morally unacceptable to our society. I believe strongly that this conclusion reflects a national consensus, and I believe personally that it is the right thing to do. Today, I am sending legislation to the Congress that prohibits anyone in either public or private sectors from using these techniques to create a child. Until the day I sign the legislation into law, the ban on federal funding I declared in March will remain in effect. And once again, I call upon the private sector to refrain voluntarily from using this technology to attempt to clone a human being. I want to make clear that there is nothing inherently immoral or wrong with these new techniques used for proper purposes. In fact, they hold the promise of revolutionary new medical treatments and life-saving cures to diseases like cystic fibrosis, diabetes, and cancer, better crops and stronger livestock. This legislation, therefore, will not prohibit the use of these techniques to clone DNA in cells, and it will not ban the cloning of animals. What the legislation will do is to reaffirm our most cherished belief about the miracle of human life and the God-given individuality each person possesses. It will ensure that we do not fall prey to the temptation to replicate ourselves at the expense of those beliefs and the lives of innocent children we would produce. Finally, the legislation will ensure that we continue the national dialogue we began 3 months ago, and will provide the nation and the Congress another opportunity to take a look at this issue in 5 years. To make sure that all our voices are heard as we explore human cloning, the legislation specifically requires the National Bioethics Advisory Commission to continue its study and report back in 4.5 years. At that time, we will decide how to proceed based on what has been accomplished and agreed upon and debated and discovered in the intervening period. Banning human cloning reflects our humanity. It is the right thing to do. Creating a child through this new method calls into question our most fundamental beliefs. It has the potential to threaten the sacred family bonds at the very core of our ideals and our society. At its worst, it could lead to misguided and malevolent attempts to select certain traits, even to create certain kinds of children, to make our children objects rather than cherished individuals. We are still a long way from understanding all the implications of the present discoveries, but it is our moral obligation to confront these issues as they arise, to act now to prevent abuse. Today, I hope other countries will see what we are doing and do the same, and I pledge to work with them to enforce similar bans around the world that reflect these values. Once again, let me say a heartfelt thank you on behalf of our entire nation to the National Bioethics Advisory Commission for the remarkable work you have done and the work you have agreed to continue doing in the coming years. Thank you very much.
So again, there's so much messaging in these things that they do, right? There's so much messaging. Eminem released a 1-minute trailer showing you, the Antichrist birth, demon possession, the black eyes, the black goo, and they show it to you over and over and over again, right? And the fact that Eminem is even saying the death of Slim Shady, even admitting that this isn't even the real person who originated. None of these people are even, at this point, we can't even determine if these are real human beings, to be honest. That we know once you mix your genetic code and you alter your genetic code, you're not human anymore. So it's not a crazy notion to say that these people aren't even human beings at this stage. So Eminem releases this new trailer. He's got a new album coming out. I covered Houdini already. That's available on the website too. The song Houdini, which again about Houdini, a famous Freemason, a magician, right? Magic, Freemasonry, the craft. These are all things people should be realizing. It's not very complicated to figure out. You don't need a huge whiteboard. You don't need a bunch of string like they do when they make fun of us, saying like, oh, you're looking at this, piecing this. This connects to that. It's very easy to see how this whole thing works. And really, it comes down to God and the devil. And they tell you this every time. They show you it in these videos. They tell you, right? They show you how much they worship the devil. They always praise Lucifer. They always show you demon possession, right? And the audience out there just looks at it and drools, and they don't even know what they're seeing. And they're just like, more, Eminem, yay! Constantly being entertained, not even realizing that they're not there to entertain them. They're to program them. So Eminem, again, I'm sure the next video that comes out will be filled with satanic imagery also. But the masses out there can't even read between the lines with what they're showing you. The death of Slim Shady, who many believe is already dead and cloned. And, even the notion of cloning. I mean, people need to wake up to all this technology they have. They are hundreds of years advanced with the stuff that we know they have, right? So when they're telling you in the 90s that they can clone a sheep, okay, and I've done videos showing you the documentaries and stuff of them talking about in Australia cloning babies. We're way past that. But the knowledge that they released to everybody makes them believe that it's not physically, humanly possible for them to do. But, when they tell you that they could clone sheep in the 90s, that means they were already cloning humans long before that, okay? And they're long, long past that at this point now. They're breeding. We've seen the stuff. I've covered that too, with how they're creating these babies in petri dishes and all the stuff with stems. I mean, it's insanity what we're living among. But it's also insanity watching the people out there that praise all this stuff and have no idea what they're even looking at. And they can't think past the fact that they want to cheer for a song and they like the beat. They don't understand frequencies, mind control. They don't understand any of it. I'm trying my best to wake them up to it. But cloning is a real thing. It was another opportunity to show everybody out there that. But don't forget about the transformation. Transformation isn't coming. The transformation is here. And they're showing you this day in and day out. They're birthing and creating new human beings by mixing their genetic structure. Thank you for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you and your families as always.